Hi Jackson! We're going to talk about the life cycle of a frog. So the first part of the frog's life cycle is right here. What do you think these are? Yeah, they're little frog eggs. Don't they kind of look like eyeballs? I think they kind of look like eyeballs a little bit. So a frog, an adult frog, lays these eggs, and that's the first part of the life cycle of the frog. Then the eggs hatch, and the frogs aren't frogs yet. First, they hatch into tadpoles. See, it has a long tail, and a tadpole looks like a little fish. It doesn't have any legs at first, and it has gills that help it breathe underwater. So tadpoles can only live underwater. Then, the next part of the life cycle is when a tadpole gets legs. A tadpole stays a tadpole for weeks. During this time, tadpoles start to grow back legs. See the little legs there? It also gets lungs, so it will be able to breathe on land when it becomes a grown frog. Even though the tadpole starts to look more like a frog, it still has a long tail, and it still can't survive on land yet. So first the tadpole, and then the tadpole grows legs. Then the tadpole turns into what's called a young frog, and it could also be called a froglet. When a tadpole becomes a froglet, it grows front legs and its tail becomes shorter. See, now it has front legs and back legs, and the tail is shorter than it was when it was a tadpole. A froglet looks almost exactly like a frog, except it's smaller and has a tail. Now the froglet can hop on land for the first time. So once a tadpole grows front legs and their tail gets shorter, they become a froglet and they can hop on land. Then after some time of growing, a froglet grows and the tail goes away completely and it becomes an adult frog. See the frog? It's bigger than a froglet and it doesn't have a tail. And it's now a grown frog. When the adult frogs lay eggs, the eggs then go through the same cycle as their parents did, which is why it's called a cycle. It's called a life cycle because it repeats itself. The cycle keeps repeating because when this adult frog grows up, they lay these eggs, and then the eggs grow up to be frogs. And it goes all the way around until those eggs become a frog, and then that frog has eggs, and the eggs turn into tadpoles and froglets and frogs, and then that frog has eggs, and it turns into tadpoles and froglets and frogs. So the cycle keeps going around and around. That's the life cycle of a frog. They start as an egg, then they become a tadpole, then the tadpoles grow legs, and then the tadpoles become froglets, and they go on land for the first time. And then after some growing, the froglet turns into a full frog, and then that frog lays eggs, and it starts all over again. So that's the cycle of a frog. It's really interesting. I had fun making this video. I hope you liked it. Bye.